Hi class, this is Rob and this is CSC 101. Today is the first time you're going to look at the grader project using Microsoft Word. We're going to get started. Open up your assignment calendar and you'll notice the little blue dots here. These are items due. This is in blue. You'll click on that and what will come up are the assignments for you. You got the grader project and its actual solution and the Word chapter for the e-text. All that's available to you in this particular case. Let's go right into Microsoft Word Grader Project. You're going to be shown the downloading screen for this grader project and all grader projects. You'll have 4 steps. The first step is always to download the material, which will be located in your download file. Then you'll work on your assignment on your computer and view each of the steps. You could do that either right here under step 2, but the steps are also in the downloaded materials. The third part is the upload the content. When you're completed with the work, you'll upload that and then hit submit. For more information on how to download and then finally submit, there's a video for that in our Blackboard web shell under the file My IT Videos. The first thing you're going to notice is your step-by-step guide. You could look at this online and see it in the Word. I recommend printing this and putting it next to you as you work on the actual assignment. If you don't do it that way, the second way is to actually have it a split screen. The issue with the split screen, as you can see here, is there's not a lot of room to work on. So I wouldn't recommend this, especially for somebody new to Microsoft products, because if you do that, what's going to happen is you're not going to see all of the tabs, and you're not as familiar with all of the tabs, so it's easier to get lost. So what I recommend again is to print off this sheet right here. Every single time you do a grader, print it off, lay it near you. And as you do it, the other tip is once you download something, put a check mark. Once you open a file, hit the check mark. As you move through this, check off each thing you completed. This is going to help you just keep track of where you're at and what you've done. It's something that we've been doing for years with our students, and you find this of value. So again, check off each one of the micro steps that go on to help you keep organized. Step 1, we're going to focus on taking this extension right here. I'm going to copy it, but I could easily type this in and save it. What I'm going to do now is move the instructions out of the way, and I'm going to look right at the document that we're going to be using, which is this particular document that was downloaded. It's called the X16 WD01 grader, okay, HW. But it says, if you look at the instructions do say that we got to save it. And I'm going to save it as something different. So I'm going to hit the Save As. And for my case, I have my web-based, cloud-based storage. I'm going to save my document too. You can see it all is listed here exactly the way it's described. So now I'm going to do that. Back to the document. The now document is completed for step 1. So I would check that off that that's done. And number 2 is I'm going to place the insertion point at the end of the document and press enter. So let me do that. Go to the end of the document, insertion point, hit enter right there. And then now it says insert text from the file, which is the EX16WD. Basically, it's the other homework text. We're going to choose text from file because this is what's being asked of us. Insert text from the file. So that's what I'm doing now. And earlier, and this is something I recommend to all of you, is create a file, whether it's in downloads or somewhere else, that puts all of the homework, the assignments, of this particular grader in one file. It'll make life a lot easier for you. So in this, it's asked for the travel insertion, so I'm going to do that now. And there I go. I clicked on it. It's done. I've completed step 2. It's now asking on step 3 to find quaint. So what did I do? I instantly found quaint, and how I did that is I did a control, and I'll go out of this so you can see it, control F, and I had typed in quaint. There it is, and I want to insert the word charming. I hit replace. Yes, done. Step 3 is to check for spelling, and I already did a F7, which you can see here, and I'll delete this back and come here and hit F7, and it starts to check for words that are misspelled. So we'll go through this whole process to check for the spelling. And number 4, step 4, we're going to change the left and right margins to 1 inch. To do that, we would have to go into layout, and the left is this left margin. We're going to go to 1 inch, and the right margin we're going to go to 1 inch. Remember that the tabs are going to be important. Layout is where you do the spacing that you need. We're going into changing the margins. This is step 4, where we're going to change the left and right margins to 1 inch. That's the first part of this. So let's do that now, where we're going into the layout. Under margins itself, you can do this here and go down to custom margins. And it says to do left at 1 inch. And it says right at 1 inch. There we go. That is complete. The next part of step 4 is create a custom watermark. In order to do that, we're going to move ourselves over to Design tab. If you notice, there's watermarks here, and we're going to go into a custom watermark. So we're going to do that. We're going to move the text from the ASAP, and we're going to change it to draft. We're going to set the color to blue. We're going to change to a diagonal layout, which is already set right here. Hit apply and then close. Now we're going to change the number 200 in the 6th paragraph on the first page to 300. So let's do that. We'll count the paragraphs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're on 6. At this point, we want to find the number that says 200, which is right here. We want to change that to 300. Next part of this step 5 is change the word offer in the paragraph that begins whatever you're hungry for to the feature. So let's go find that. Whatever you're hungry for, right here, can be found in the river. We're looking for the word offer. Next part is to change the word offer in the paragraph that begins whenever you're hungry for to feature. So, you know, if it's hard to find something, just do a control F and then type in the word that you're looking for. In this case, it's offer. We found it. It's great. It's right here. And then what I'm going to do is type in the word feature. Okay. And in this case, I really just copied the word. I'll just put it in here. Restaurants along the walk feature classic Tex-Mex. We're now going to change the word it's in the last paragraph on the second page. But again, if I want to find that, I will then look for it using the find. So it's a lot easier to look for it. Now that it's here, I'm going to change this from the it's to it is. The last part of this step 5 is the cloisters. Now it says the fourth paragraph on the first page incorrectly describes the cloister as the cloisters. Well, now we want to correct it each time the mistake occurs in the paragraph. So let's just go up. We'll start up there, and what it said was the fourth paragraph. So 1 paragraph, 2 paragraph, 3 paragraph, 4. Okay. We can see the cloisters right here, but we're going to change it to the cloister. All right. So I actually, to make sure that I don't incorrectly do this, I'm going to just copy it. All right. Put it in the cloister. And then you see the cloisters right here as well. I'm going to do that. Fixed it to the cloister. That concludes this lengthy step 5. Now we're going to move on to step 6. With step 6, we're going to insert a plain number 2. Now the key word here is insert, so I'm in the insert tab. What I'm going to do is insert a page number. And what it asks specifically is plain number 2, the bottom of the page. Plain number 2, bottom of the page. Click it. There we go. Next spot. Insert a header. And this header is the Southeastern Living. And that's what we want on the left-hand side. So we're going to look for header. Do that right here. It's going to be on the left. Okay. And we'll place what its specific name is, Southeast Living. Insert the document name. So we're going to do that. I insert in the document name, which is the file name. We're on step 7, where it says edit the header to include a copyright symbol before the words Southeast Living. And what you can do is look at the insert. That's another keyword. What you're going to do in this part is find a symbol. Copyright symbol. So now it says copyright Southeastern Living. Inserting a non-breaking hyphen is something that has to be done. I've done the first part in here, finding the 5 and the star. What I'm going to show you is I'm going to remove this by hitting delete, this little line here, little dash. I'm going to go up to symbol, and this is where I'm going to do the non-breaking hyphen, which basically just says it keeps the words together. That's what it's supposed to do. So special characters under symbol, and you can see non-breaking hyphen. You insert that. Close. Let's take a look. There it is. Next part, in the 7th paragraph, let's just go there and then we'll read the rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7th paragraph. Replace the dash divides the word Tex and Mex with a non-breaking hyphen. There we go. Get rid of this. Hit delete of that hyphen, and then we're going to go to a non-breaking one by going under symbols, more symbols, special characters, non-breaking. There are shortcuts. You can learn those shortcuts later, but for now, just go through the manual, more of a longer process, so you can just be familiar with it. I hit insert and close. That concludes step 7. Step 8, now we're going to replace the space after the first name Addison. So let's find that Addison. So I'm going to do a Control F. There's Addison. And if you read a little deeper, it says in the second paragraph on the first page, so we know where that is. And you want to do a non-breaking space. So where would we do that? We will go under Symbols again, same process as before, and we're going to do Special Characters, non-breaking space. So hit the insert. But before I do, I just got to make sure I'm at the end of Addison, because it says replace the space after the first name Addison. And that's what I'm going to do now. I just made sure that works. Go into my symbols again, special characters, non-breaking space. Here we go. Next part was insert a page break before the 5th paragraph on the first page. So we're going to go in here. This is the insert, and here's an insert keyword, page break. Click. That part has been completed. We're done with step 8. Step 9, fairly simple. What that means is change the top margin to 2. Okay, 2 inches that is. So we're going to go back to that layout. We're going to go over to the margins. I'm going to go down to custom margins, and I'm going to change the top margin to 2. There we go. Just done. Hit OK. That concludes step 9. Okay, now we're on number 10, where we're going to save the document, and you can do that with the shortcuts. You can do the save under File or the Control S. In addition to that, we have to run a compatibility checker, so we're going to go under File for this one. And run a compatibility checker is going to be under Inspect Document. I'm going to check the compatibility. There's nothing that has any issues whatsoever, but if you were to find any defaults, so it says inspect the document, accept all defaults, and remove all document properties and personal information. Okay? And this looks good, so hit OK. That concludes step 10. Now we're going into step 11, where we're going to add some keywords, and that also is back under the File. So we're going to add travel, Texas, and Georgia to the keywords field in document properties. So here's the document, here's the information, here are the properties, and we're going to go under advanced properties, and we're going to look at general summary. So here's the summary tab. I'm going into the keywords, and that's where I'm going to type in travel, Texas, and Georgia. That concludes step 11. The last thing we're going to do now is save and close. So I'm going to go back to save again. And we will now submit this document and then get it graded. So we're going to now save our document. So let's get that done. Save the document not just to the file, but also to the assignment calendar. So I'm going to go back to my IT lab, and I'm going to open up this chapter where I initially downloaded everything. I'm on number 3 right now, as you can see. I'm done with everything. I'm going to choose my file. This is the file that I had saved. I'm going to hit open, then upload. Success, and now I submit for grading. This is what you should see. Kudos, your file has been submitted. I hope that professor gives me an A, because I've done a good job. Hope this has helped you out, and that is our first look at grader projects for Word Chapter 1. I want to check to see how I did. All right, so in my assignment calendar, I had just uploaded my work. And you can see that I passed. It's right here, I passed. But what's my grade? So let's take a look at that. I'm going to look at the view submissions. If you notice, I had an 87. So I can keep that. And if I was a student, that's 87 points. All right? But I made a mistake somewhere. I'd like to correct that to have a higher score. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back in and take a look. I click on that 87. And I want you to look at the possible points. We had 100 points as possible. I earned 87. I'd like to get more points, right? I'd like to get to 100. So what did I do wrong? So I'm going to scroll down and notice that my points are earned, 0 or 10 out of possible numbers. Got all of those right except for this one or two areas right here. So I will go and fix these things. Right here it tells you exactly what I have to do. The blank paragraph was not detected in the submission, so I have to fix that. The other thing is I have to fix this compatibility issue. And it says I didn't follow all of the instructions. So now I'm going to improve my score now by reading this and learning what I have to do to correct these mistakes. So use this as a tool to help you. These 87 points can easily be brought to 100 points. So I will do that, correct it. You're going to follow the same situation. You may get less points, you may get more points, but at the end of the day, you always are able to see that score summary. And in that score summary, it breaks things down. And so these are arrows that do expand, and you can see where we may have lost points, and then what we need to do to correct those points. I hope this helps you. Good luck, and we'll see you in class.